All right, good evening. Hey, we turned the heat off. We got rid of the air pollution. There's a little bit of wind because we'll have to struggle with our music a little bit, but it's a gorgeous night and we're so glad to have you all here for our 5th concert of our season. We've only got 3 more left after this, which is kind of sad, but we'll enjoy them as they come, okay? Tonight we have Dr. Randy Grabowski playing trumpet for us, a real treat for you. I know you'll really enjoy that. And we have our children's march. I really need some kids to come down right away. After, Raiders of the Lost Ark, we're playing that song. Right after that, I need kids down here as quick as possible so we can do our thing with that particular march, all right? Well, again, we're so glad to have you all here. Thank you for coming, and please stand for our national anthem.
Good evening. Julie's right. The weather is really terrific, minus a little bit of wind. We also have a fantastic program in store for you tonight, so we'll get right to it. Our first piece is by a Belgian composer named Jan Van der Roost. The piece is called Arsenal. It's a concert march that's really, really, really popular in Europe, and all the European bands play it as somewhat as almost like standard repertoire in European bands. Not so much in America. It's not played very often by American bands, so we're really happy to be able to share this music with you tonight. This is Arsenal, concert march by Jan Van der Roost. Our next piece is written by a really well-known band composer named Julie Giroux. This piece is called The Grace in Being, and she wrote this piece for those who are oppressed. And I'll paraphrase just a little bit from what she wrote about the piece. She wrote that this piece is for those who are oppressed by race or religion or sexual orientation or any number of ways that people have been oppressed all over the world. This piece was written for them. It's a really lovely, beautiful piece. I think you'll really like her writing. This is The Grace in Being by Julie Giroux. best part about being a musician is trying to play while the sun blinds you and the wind whisks your music off your stand. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. It's hard to believe that there's a new Indiana Jones movie out. If you had told me this several years ago, I would have never thought this would be possible, that there could be a new Indiana Jones movie out. And on top of that, that the score would be composed by John Williams at 91 years old. And he said that this is probably the last movie score that he'll do, although there's another movie coming out in September called The Fabelmans that he previously wrote the score to. So these two movies will be the last two that we have where John Williams scored the soundtrack. And it might be a nice moment for us to reflect on how our movies have been since the 1970s, when he gave his unique voice to movies from Star Wars, Superman, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones series, Harry Potter, and I'm sure many others that I'm forgetting. And so with Indiana Jones on the mind, and a lot of people seeing that movie, and with this being perhaps his last soundtrack, tonight we'll play the Raiders March from the 1981 Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first film in the Indiana Jones series.
All right, I need some kids. I need as many kids as possible. You can be young at heart and come down here too. So there's no age limit or age requirement. I need your help. Yeah. Hurry, hurry, hurry. It's a group effort, you know. That's what it always is. Okay, so the next piece, come on over. The next piece we're going to play is a march by Carl King. And Carl King liked to do circus music. Do you know anything about circuses? No? Do you know anything about circuses? What might you find at a circus? Find elephants, maybe, the big top. The clowns, that's right. And you know what? I'm glad you said clowns. Because he wrote this march for a couple of clowns, real clowns, who liked to dress up. They kind of walked among people, and they liked to dress up like, what do you think they might have liked to dress up as? Weird things? Well, actually, they like to dress up as frogs. Okay, so you got to be a frog, all right? See, aren't they pretty? I spent an hour making these today. All right, well, here, you get a frog, you get a frog, get a frog, and then you get a frog. You can even have a frog, because you're a special person too. All right, then would you two do me a favor? Would you go take these three and give them to someone in the audience? Give those three to someone in the audience. Would you give those two to someone in the audience? Real quick, just run up. You want to give this one to someone in the audience? Just anybody at all. Anybody at all. Because they have just been drafted. Not that they have to march, but we have to have our frogs. And if I spent all afternoon making 12 frogs, by gosh, we're going to use them all. All right? So you got to be, you don't have to march, but you can march if you want. And yay! Now, the best part about this march is that it's a slow march. Okay? It's a slow march. It's a two-step, so it doesn't go very fast. And we promise we won't hurt anybody, and you will just have some fun with our walking frog march that Carl King did. Did you know that Carl King actually lived in Iowa, Fort Dodge, Iowa, ran the band there? And so it's kind of cool that we have an American composer from Iowa who did this circus music called The Walking Frog. Are you ready for The Walking Frog? Now there's one other thing. You have to listen. Where's that whistle? Can you do the whistle for me? Okay, so somewhere in the music, that whistle's gonna happen. Now, if you want to do something goofy right then, you know, what would a clown do during that? You know, maybe they'd make a big, or they'd grab themselves, you know, or something. Anyway. But, you know, if you want to do, that happens towards the end. I'm gonna give you a clue, it happens towards the end. All right? All right, is that a cool sound? Okay, so we're ready to do the walking frog.
Okay.
sorry that Randy has to follow now, but. Oh, I should have made you a frog.
Well, what a tough act to follow. That's a hard one for us to follow. Our next piece is by a British composer named Philip Sparke. It's a trumpet concerto or a trumpet solo with band accompaniment called Manhattan. It was written for a trumpet, first chair trumpet player of the U.S. Army Band in 2003. And it's in 2 movements, and each movement's supposed to represent a different side of living in New York City. The first movement is called Saturday Serenade, and is meant to evoke the feeling that maybe you're sitting in a jazz club late at night when the jazz combo is playing maybe some slow music, towards the end of the night. And the second movement is called Sunday Scherzo, and it's supposed to maybe give the feeling that you've woken up on Sunday morning and gone for a jog in Central Park, so it's a bit sprightly and very, fast and rather energetic. And I'm really excited to be able to do this with my colleague at UNI, who I've worked with for 16 years, going on 17 years, ever since I came to UNI. And I have such a great deal of respect for him and his musicianship and his kindness and the kind of person that he is. And so I was really happy when we were able to work this out for him to be here. This is the professor of trumpet at UNI, Dr. Randy Grabowski. Randy is such a brilliant trumpet player. How about another round of applause? We have the same problem. I didn't know what could follow Walking Frog, and now I don't know what can follow that. And so we'll do a little bit of Oklahoma. This is a short medley of Oh What a Beautiful Morning. Everything's up to date in KC. Can't Say No. People Will Say We're in Love. Old Judd Is Dead. And then ending with Oklahoma. pretty happy about this next piece because the score for the conductor is only one sheet instead of a giant book. And so I'm sure you can tell from where you're sitting, but I usually use my phone to hold down the pages as I turn them. But it was so windy earlier that I don't know what was happening with my phone. I think I may have texted some people, and I know I took some pictures while it was happening. So we'll see what that's about. Our next piece is a very famous march by Edwin Franco Goldman called On the Mall. It was premiered in 1923, and so we celebrate the 100th anniversary of this rather famous march this year. You probably know that Edwin Franco Goldman was probably considered to be the leader of the band movement after John Philip Sousa and led a wildly successful professional band, the Goldman Band, who gave concerts in New York City and Central Park on the Mall. And so that's where the name of this march comes from. There's a number of pieces that he wrote with the title On the Something. There's On the Farm, On the Hudson, On the Green, On the Mall, and several others, some of which are hard to find. And this is the most famous piece probably of Goldman's ever. But in the tradition of Edwin Franco Goldman, what he liked to do at his concerts is to try to find a way for audiences to participate in the music somehow. And so we're going to do that tonight. There's going to be a moment in the trio where we're going to ask you to sing a little bit with us, and then we're going to ask you to whistle the same melody the second time through. So let's do this. First, I'll give you a chance to listen to it, and I'm going to ask our two first clarinetists to play the little line in the trio just so you can hear it, and then we'll all sing it together just to practice. Then we'll play the piece. Okay, so here's what it sounds like. 1, 2, 1. Just on a la, 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 la. Let's play this little part with the tuba percussion, horn, and euphonium playing, and we'll all sing. So this will be the 5th bar of the trio. Here, just sing along with us. Ready? 1, 2, 1. La, 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 la. To play that's kind of big and loud, and then we'll play the same melody again, but this time we'll all whistle it. Okay, everybody know what to do? You might have to finish your Tootsie Pop here so that you're ready to go. All right, here we go. We'll take it from the beginning. This is On the Mall, Edwin Franco Goldman. didn't tell you is that if you sang or whistled, then the musicians union says you must get paid for a public performance. Julie has a wad of cash, and if you see her afterwards, you'll get your payment. Last week, Jason Weinberger led us in the Copeland Variations on a Shaker medley, and so I thought it would be interesting tonight to hear that same Shaker hymn, but in a different piece of music. This is the Chorale and Shaker dance of John Zdechlik, which was written in 1972, and it's become, 1972, it's still played all the time by high school bands and college bands, and it's quite a standard piece in the repertoire. It's a little different than the Copeland that you heard last week, because in this piece, there's an opening little statement, an opening theme, and then you hear the little part of the theme of the Shaker melody, and then those two themes kind of interact through the piece, and there's a lot of development, and it's a bit contemporary sounding until the end, when there's a bit of a celebratory sound, and you finally hear the Shaker melody the way you thought you'd hear it coming to the end. This is a very popular piece of music for bands. This is the Chorale and Shaker dance of John Zdechlik.
Well, thank you again for coming. You know, I think you got good money for your ticket tonight. You know, you got good entertainment value. So hope you enjoyed everything that we did tonight and that you'll come back again next week. Next week, Justin Mertz will be, from the University of Northern Iowa, will be here conducting the band. So we look forward to him coming and guest conducting with us. Let's remember thank yous to the City of Waterloo for funding our concert series. Ed Stoffer, our videographer, Jason Rubin, our photographer. Check out our website, you might see yourself there. Center for the Arts staff for all their setup, and all of you, patrons and contributors, we really appreciate it. We are working towards getting a set of chimes this year, so if you can help us with the donations, we're about 20% there right now, so we're working on it, but we'll get there. Don't forget the Cedar Falls Municipal Band concert on Tuesday, July 11th in Overman Park, and they always have a pre-show. One thing, heads up, we are going to have a pre-show on the 20th of July, not next week, but the following week. The Iowa Trombones are going to be here, and that's always a great treat. So, again, thank you so much for coming. Please come back again and bring some friends. We love you here. Thank you.